Today we start with the SAP project system overview. Basically, agenda of the today's session that we have mapped all the SAP scenarios in SAP system, and we will see how the process will be flow through the project system module. These are the agenda. We will map project structuring, project planning, project budgeting, project execution, project closing, and project reporting. So start with the project structuring module. The prerequisite things to map any structure in project system: the project coding mask need to be defined in a configuration. This coding mask will be defined at the start of the project when the implementation is going on. What is the requirement of exactly for that particular business process, how many levels they required, what kinds type of the projects. So according to that we will define a coding mask. So like here for example, there are different kinds of project like a commercial project, common project, education project, residential project. So according to that the ID will be defined. So as soon as you pick up the ID to create that project, the coding mask will be automatically get pick up. And again the coding mask will be define your hierarchy of or a level of the WBS. So it can be first, second, third, fourth, fifth and sixth level. So you can be create up to the 6th level WBS structure according to this example. So first 3 character define the ID which is for that particular project, and the coding mask which is define the hierarchy of a level for the WBS. Then the second important thing to define the project profile. Again this is a configuration part. You need to configure the appropriate project profile. The basically project profile is the default values where you can be store your budget profile, how the budget profile will be happen in a project, how the planning profile, how can you want to plan on that particular project, like it is a year wise planning or a month wise planning, which is the cost element based planning. That planning profile you need to be set for that particular project profile. Settlement profile, however you can be settle your cost, whether it is a GL account, whether it is a cost center, whether it is a fixed asset, that you have to assign in a settlement profile, and later on you have to assign all this profile to the project profile. The network profile, which is containing the how the activity should be get created, whether it is a internal, external, service or a general cost, what kind of scheduling you required, whether it is a forward scheduling, backward scheduling or a free scheduling. These all methods is contained and which is default set in that particular project profile. So whenever you whenever you go for any creation of a new project, system will first ask you to select the appropriate project profile, and once you select the appropriate project profile, system will copy all the default values from that project profile to your creation of the new operative project. So let us see what kind of the fields which is set in the project profile. So this is a project profile control tab information. This is the first tab where you can be set the simulation profile. So what kind simulation profile is nothing but the snapshot of that particular project, where you can be take the particular planning, budgeting, your scheduling, your actual cost can be configured in the simulation profile. So all this value get captured in the simulation profile. So what kinds of value you need to be captured in a simulation profile, you have to set in that particular simulation profile. Then there is a validation and substitution, where you can be maintain what kinds of validation and what kinds of substitution you need for against that particular project. Like if I want particular company code having controlling area having plant, so I can maintain that combination. So whenever I create a company code against that particular project, I need to maintain that plant only. That validation I have already prerequisite here. Then the substitution is again where the system will check whether your values are appropriate or not. So this can be things can be checked with the validation and substitution. Then the project stock, whether the project stock is a valuated stock, non-stock, or if you doesn't want to maintain any stock on that particular project, then you have to select the appropriate radio button. So these are the radio buttons which need to be select for the no stock, non-valuated stock and the valuated stock. Status profile, there are already system status which is available in the project system module, which is provided by the standard SAP. To further control the business object or business transaction, SAP have provided the user status, and that can be controlled by the status management. So these are the status management which control the business transaction in the project system module. Then the change management, document management system. So if you need any change document, like if I have changes, I have certain done the I have created the project, and after a couple of weeks I have do the any changes in that particular project system module. So that can be traceable to the change document. So what kind of change I have done in that particular project, that can be traceable to the change document. So I have to tick here as a change document. So whenever I created the project and later on if I keep going changes in that particular, that can be traceable. So who have done that changes, what kind of changes, whether I have done the any quantity related changes, whether I have done any description related changes, whether I have created any new activity in that particular project, that all the changes have been traceable in the particular project system. Then the graphical views, what kinds of graphical views you want during your project planning board, that can be set here. Whether your project is the account assignment element, billing element, you need to be tick, so you can be able to maintain that here. And if you want to integrate your system with the SD module, you need to provide the sales organization, distribution channel, and the deep profile. Okay, this is the things which you need to be maintained in the project management system under control tab. Then the next tab is the organization data, where you need to maintain the appropriate controlling area, company code, plant, profit center, and project currency. So what is my project currency, whether it is the INR, USD, Euro, that you have to maintain, and the appropriate data you have to maintain for which you want to create a project. Then the next tab is the planning board dates. So what kinds of scheduling profile I need for that particular WBS, whether it is a backward scheduling, forward scheduling, or a sprint scheduling, how the date will be get calculated, how the actual dates will be get calculated, what is my factory calendar, whether it have any holidays, whether it have Saturday, Sundays have holidays, or all the working days, that I need to define in a factory calendar, the time unit for the calculation of the days. Then planning method basis, whether it is a strict bottom up or a bottom forward scheduling, or a top to bottoms, that have to maintain in the planning methods. Then the network profile, so what kinds of activity I need to be created in the system, that can be configured to the network profile. And the planning board profile, where I have to maintain the Gantt chart related setting. So how my Gantt chart should be get reflected, that can be set to the planning board profile. The last tab is the controlling, where I have to do the object class. What is my object class, whether it is a investment, whether it is a overhead, whether it is a production, that I have to maintain in the object class. Then whether my WBS are the statistical. So if a WBS is a statistical, then the cost will be captured on that particular project is a statistical cost. So that can be maintained in the statistical WBS element. Then the planning profile, that I have communicated earlier, that need to be maintained, the planning profile and the budget profile. So how the budget profile and the planning profile get calculated, that can be stored in the particular planning profile and the budget profile system. Settlement profile, where I need to settle that particular cost of that particular project, that can be maintained in the settlement profile, whether I have to settle the cost on a GL, cost center, or a asset, that can be maintained in the settlement profile.